women's conference was held over the past 2 days with 49 federations plus from all 5 continents, plus a lot of other attendees from the game, whether it's apparel companies, whether it's agents of the game, whether it's partners of FIBA that were there and were interested, or coaches and referees were attending the conference. And we had presentations from all different sectors, and it was very clear to us that women's basketball is an excellent sport. We have great players, and like here we see in Czech Republic, we even have great fans when they can support their home team. On the other hand, we see that over the past 10 years, 20 years, only a certain number of teams are consistently on the podium or get there. I mean, with one side, but over a large period of time, and that means that there is not that there's not enough teams that are able to compete at that level, and we need to find out why this is so. We do not necessarily have a product in women's basketball. We have sport as women's basketball, but it's not yet the product and the brand. And to do that, we probably need to work on the product itself. So we need to try to find out what is the look of the game. So how do the players actually fit on the court, and therefore we should look at how they're dressed also and how they act, how we can use them also off the court, showing that they are not just simply basketball players and athletes, but also persons, women that have their own history, they have their own stories, and therefore here we have to work more in the social corporate responsibility areas. We have to work on the dress, so we need to work on that. And then they also play the game in a different way than the men. So we have to figure out, and is this an issue, or is this something that it's okay to be different? People are telling us that women in general are shorter than men and therefore should use a smaller ball. We did that change. Now they're also telling us, well, they're playing under the basket. This is not as spectacular as you could maybe make the game. And so one of the conclusions was that we should not be afraid of testing to lower the basket. And we will therefore start now testing different uniforms. We will now start testing to lower the basket. We have to check for how much and what is the impact on the game. And so over the next 4 years we will see, for example, testing in those 2 areas, as well as maybe other activities where we can use the former players and current players in promoting the game of basketball in a more attractive way to the media outside, so that they take notice of it, and we will have an even better promotion of the game at the next World Championship. But we will also have much more young girls that will be willing to join the game and participate in a wonderful sport. On average, women are shorter than men by something up to 20 centimeters. So the most logical correlation will be, well, let's lower it by 20 centimeters. But then comes into play the technique of shooting technique, and so there is some consistent talks have been made that it should be rather around 15 centimeters, 12 centimeters. So we'll really have to think that through and try different elevations of the basket and see how much that really influences a change of the game itself. So whether the players will really be then playing above the rim, and whether then that is really more spectacular, and whether that's much more appreciated by the fans. We worked on the change for the ball from the unique ball size to a smaller ball size. I think it took us about 15 years. So I would hope that we will not wait for 15 years to make any changes, but we will be able within 4 years' time from now to be very clear whether it will be very profitable and beneficial to women's sports to lower the rim, and then by one, and by how much, and I think that it will take, however, at least 4 years. There is no way that tests can be made on a serious basis in a shorter time frame than that.
That means no lowered rim for the 2012 Olympics and for the 2014 FIBA World Championships.
Certainly not. Also because there is in sport a very clear, I mean, principle, fundamental principle, which is not even written and anchored in any statutes or in any regulations. It's just once you start a qualification system for a competition, you don't change the playing rules, and therefore we will start now. We have already started basically the qualification for the London Olympic Games. The winner tonight here in Czech Republic will go to the Olympic Games, so we're not going to change the rules for 2012, and by then we will start the qualification system for 2014. So of course 2014 will also be not with a lowering with a lower rim, unless we are so much enthusiastic about the results of our experiments that we think before London, and that will be an amazing short time that FIBA will be able to do a change of such a nature. But I think it's impossible. There is another consideration which one has to take into account, and that is that lowering the rim is today not anymore a technical problem. Baskets exist and can be lowered manually, like when you're lowering the curtain in your home or things, but to replace baskets around the world is going to be a tremendous challenge. So I think there will be some practical constraints which will also limit us in the rapidity with any changes. First of all, I think the key is let's test it, let's try it, let's see how good the basketball game can become with it, and if it is that good, and if it feels if it attracts interest, and if it attracts a good feeling about it, then let's think about the implementation step.